So, lads. My Hero Academia, chapter 272.
Good morning.
Ohio!
Ohio.
The best state.
I was wondering what they were going to name. I was wondering what translation they were going to use, because some people have translated it as hello.
Right. I think good morning works better.
I think good morning also works better, but I could see hello as well.
I mean, everyone's been talking about Shigaraki's awakening. He's awakening.
Awakening.
I love the idea of Shigaraki waking up and just going, good morning, as he fucking kills you to
I'm
death.
fucking cold,
See,
bro.
That's something I love. It's the only thing he said. He has only said, I'm cold.
I'm cold. So, good morning, Ohio. Now, before we begin, I'd like to point out, when I first read this chapter, I got emotional,
Yes,
which is not something that happens too regular. It happens more often than not in My Hero Academia, surprisingly. Horikoshi's a surprisingly good author.
It's true.
But this particular...
This has a lot of
yeah.
emotion in it.
It had a lot.
You were very right in your assessment last recording.
Was I?
Yes, because me and Pat were both like, well, I mean, Pat said he was going to take down a lot of the people in the hospital, but we still haven't gotten past the hospital. You just said a lot of people are going to die.
Yeah.
Which is kind of true. There was we don't know an exact number, but we definitely know Captain X or whatever his name is. X-Less. The shield dude, the bone.
Crust! Yo,
Oh
fucking Crust.
And a lot of people have hypothesized the Washer.
No, I thought Wash, it looked like...
Well, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
we don't know for sure, and also we don't know if the kitty cat.
Mandalay.
I saw a lot of good... I thought it was...
Wait, is Mandalay the red one?
It wasn't Mandalay. It was Pixie Bob.
Pixie Bob.
Pussy Bob.
Pussy Bob.
It's the Wild Boy Pussycats, bro. Like, come on.
It's not... It's one of the two women that are still in the Wild Pussycats.
Yes. I believe it was Pixie Bob.
You.
Because she's the one with the Earth manipulation quirk, and there's, like, people thinking that she's actually alive because she was able to, like... stop the decay.
But we saw
we see her do that to keep it.
But we saw the decay go through it.
Yeah, but like it was definitely
slows it down for a second.
So like,
yes,
there's a chance.
That's true. There is a chance. I'm not saying we don't know for sure.
Exactly. We don't know
I'm just saying,
for sure.
We're just saying. I just know a lot of people have died.
Yeah, lots of nameless heroes
people
dying.
Possibly have died.
I also, I'm. Has the Doctor's mustache gotten smaller?
The Doctor's mustache is kind of
it goes up.
Extension of his facial features. So every time emotion appears, his mustache does something, like Dr. Eggman,
exactly.
Where it'll spray out or go down depending on how he's feeling.
So much smaller in this chapter.
That's true.
The guy's been nibbling at it. He's he doesn't have any fingernails, so he's just chewing on it.
Look, man, I'll be the first to admit that I have done that to my beard. I'm not proud of it.
Dude, I've been doing it to my mustache because I don't have the time to trim it anymore.
Oh yeah. Also, can we discuss whether or not some people are saying, I don't think this is true. They're wondering how this decay is affecting the flying heroes.
Oh, it's not.
It's not.
It's already. We already see it not happening.
But we do. But one of the flying heroes actually isn't there later on in one of the panels. I don't remember which one.
Well, we see Gran Torino.
We see Gran Torino. We see Endeavor, and we see
Ryukyu.
And we also see Endeavor flying.
Dragon.
Endeavor is just not falling very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's flying. I think that's how that works.
He's falling with style.
I'm making the joke that he said to Hawks, or he's like,
that
I
is
didn't know
what
you
he's
could
saying.
fall. He's like, I didn't know you could fly. I'm just not falling.
I just haven't hit the ground yet. Okay.
Yeah.
I do want. Can we just talk about this real quick?
Mm-hmm.
MVP for the chapter to the number 6 hero, Crust.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
This
Thumbs up.
This lad, not only saves Eraserhead from the fucking Nomu that everyone hates.
That's true.
He also gives us the iconic All Might smile.
Yes.
Right before he finally dies. He does not go out like a pussy. He does not go out into the night screaming and crying like everyone else. He goes out like a goddamn champion.
He also has, in my opinion, redeemed himself for what happened with Overhaul.
That happened with Overhaul.
Remember, he was kind of like all like wimping out of it.
That was
or he got all pissy.
That was the Camino.
Was that not Crust? I thought
that was not
Crust.
But no, he was saying that he was all sad because he wasn't at the Camino incident, and he was like really upset he wasn't able to help.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking yeah. I mean, what kind of redemption is that? You know, going from shucks, wish you could have been there to I'll die for you. That's fine.
That panel of Aizawa with his eyes is so heartbreaking.
Because the guy must have been staring at these people for like 15 minutes at this point.
Oh, yeah, and not even that, but like it's just him seeing another person, like another colleague die, and he couldn't do anything about it. Like,
the funny part is, especially for Eraserhead, is that he's not even on the chart of like top 10 heroes, and like one of the top 10 just died for him. Like, that must be a bit harrowing for him.
Well, to be fair, Aizawa also isn't your typical hero.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think he gives a shit, but it's one of those things where it's like, this guy who had everything to lose gave it up for you. Some guy I'm a fucking high school teacher, dude.
It's true.
Yeah, but like, I think it just shows, like, I do wish we got more Crust characterization, and I do wish, like, there were more opportunities to learn more about his character, but just this whole moment of him just, like, that panel, and he's, like, is he crying? I can't tell if that's debris.
I don't think so. I think that's one of those, like, being tough. I think that's just, that's either a tear or just something on his mask.
Yeah.
But, like, like the mask.
But a manly tear.
A man's death.
Tear.
This is like the moment Kirishima hears about this from Aizawa, he's gonna be like, "Yo, fuck Crimson Riot. This is my boy.
Manly man. I'm gonna be red.
This is the truest manly man."
I have another thing I kind of want to talk about.
What you think?
It's not to do with this chapter. It's something that we actually haven't heard or seen of in a very long time. I was wondering your opinions on it because I've never actually talked to both of you about this.
Oh yes.
Who's the traitor?
Oh, I think the Horikoshi forgot about it. I don't care.
I'm pretty sure Horikoshi's actually gone on to say, like, yeah, I actually forgot about that plot point.
Okay. I haven't read about that.
Well, you know what? I do have a kind of theory for that, depending on how this ends. We'll keep for future theories for at the end of the chapter. Okay. But I do have something that kind of pertains to that, so I'll let you know that.
I mean...
I do think we ought to start back from the beginning, though, because we jumped right to...
We did jump to the sad bit.
Deaths, and there are a few things that we kind of skipped over.
Yes.
First of all, number 1, thick Princess Burden. Because she is not thick Queen. Thick Queen still remains with Mirko, but thick Princess.
Yes, I agree.
So not only... So we were talking about this last week, but now we figured this out. So a sidekick really is just a... hero that works under a different hero at an agency.
Yes, I agree.
So if Bakugo were to truly join,
Best Jeanist
is he would become a sidekick, not
a hero.
He would. I mean, yes. a hero.
Yeah, no,
but he's not officially called a hero.
So I probably could have found this out from just Googling how this shit worked, but he got it in the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's true.
So I love Burnham's character, and I want to see more of her.
We have so much character building in this chapter actually, because we get to see Bakugo and Midoriya both growing as heroes, both learning at the end of the chapter, and both calling out people to try and leave. We also get to see in this chapter with Bird Boy.
Koda.
I forgot his name.
Yeah. And Neijire appears.
Yes.
That's more development than she's gotten so far.
Exactly.
Does she have a new costume?
We actually get to hear from a lot of different
She
people.
does have a new costume. The original costume, I don't think, had those black pads on her legs.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes.
I think those are new.
Yes.
Other than that, I have no idea.
But even in this one page, we're looking at page 2. You see Bakugo. You see
Todoroki. Baraka,
Shoto,
Todoroki,
both directing people to try and get them out of there.
And Bakugo, as usual, just being like, "Get to the shuttle. Would you like a chocolate bun?" I said, "Get to the shuttle." Would you please take the chocolate bun? Ah! No. Shine, old lady. No, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's what I love to hear.
I mean, we still get Ida being Ida, or Tenya. I'm going Tenya. Tenya being Tenya.
But I think
I like Ida.
I also like Ida.
I feel like I really really, because I didn't realize that was kind of like a dropped plot point, that he still hasn't taken up the Ingenium name. I didn't realize, because I rewatched that episode from season 2 the other day. Yes. Holy shit. I can't believe that after the Stain fight, that was never addressed again. It's been over 100 chapters.
He still technically does not have I think it's still just Ida.
It's just Tenya.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen much from Ida since Stain.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
He's been in everything, but he hasn't really had a proper development since. And
I think it's kind of. I know they do this in One Piece a lot. They're trying to give each arc to a different character to try and develop them a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because, we've already had a bunch of character development for Ida.
Right. Plus, Horikoshi's given himself. He's kind of wrote himself into the corner. Now he's got 24 characters he needs to write development for.
Well,
is it 24 or is it just 20? How many people were in Class 1A?
I'm not sure, but there's a lot more than just that.
It's not only is it the entire class of 1A are his main characters, but then there's also
pro heroes,
the pro hero side characters, the teacher side characters, the villain pro whatever, the same tiers of villains, So of course, we're not going to see too much of each particular character, because there's so many. We are not going to see everyone get all their things all the time. But
okay, I don't.
But I think it'll be. I need more Ida.
Yeah, we need some more Tenya in our life.
Yeah, because that's the saddest thing. So Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki are the big three of Class 1A, right?
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. So, they
do kind of need the more character development than most people. As I said as we were talking about last recording, I think Uraraka is kind of up next for it.
Oh, absolutely. With the float quirk being the next one that Deku gets. But actually, has Uraraka gotten all that much
we know
character development outside of, wanting money for her parents?
Yeah,
not really. Other than the fact that she kind of gave up on that, and she was kind of just I need to help people before that.
Yeah, so she's gotten little bits and pieces between her fight with Bakugo and
more recent stuff.
The with bits with Deku and Overhaul.
Yeah, and more recent stuff with the whole flirting between them too.
Right, and kind of indirectly, we've gotten when Toga awakened her quirk by being Uraraka. We kind of got some indirect character development, if you want to be weird about it.
I guess that's true.
I don't want to.
Because Toga's the viewer. Yeah, it's not weird.
It's okay.
Shut your mouth.
Of course, that's weird. Someone literally just took your skin on and used your quirk, but you don't know about it yet. But
no, it's weird. But as far as that whole thing is concerned, I see it So Toga is kind of the viewer, right? So the reader of the manga, as far as we're concerned, Toga sees Deku and Ochako's relationship in the same way we do.
Yeah.
So whatever Toga says about it is basically gospel, as far as I'm concerned, because we see it the same way. So if Toga walks around and is oh, Deku-kun, this bitch, whom I want to be, because there was a Dolly Parton song that was something like that, right? Or no, was it not Dolly Parton?
Definitely not the person to ask about that. No offense.
Well, no. So there's a current song out there called "I Got a Girl Crush," where the female singer says she has a crush on a girl because that girl is getting the attention of a boy that she's in love with. It's does that sound backwards?
So is Toga.
That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, Toga wants to be Ochako to the point where it's almost a passionate, loving relationship, to the point where, because she wants to be with Deku so badly, which
she
again
envies. She envies Uraraka so much that she would like to be in a relationship with her because she just wants to understand what Deku.
Right. So as far as I'm concerned, anything Toga says about Deku Ochako is gospel. I believe it 100%.
I agree to a point.
Okay. So let's
back to the character.
Yeah, back to the chapter here. So character development, but then Deku, like stomachache, McGee over here. So it's interesting that the voice that he heard. Did he hear the voice at the end of the chapter, or was it like? Because
I don't think the voice.
I don't think it's at the end of the chapter. I think he does hear the voice towards the beginning when he was talking about it being Shigaraki awakening and being close, or it could be because I've heard a theory that because they're connected.
Yeah.
Because One for All and All for One are connected in some form, and the question is that something that all for One holders have? Is it just something new because Deku is the 9th holder and it has awakened these other powers?
Man, I feel like every single week we're going to be asking more questions about One for All because they're not answering anything.
No, because you can't. Because if he does, this kind of ruins the whole...
I'm going from like chapter 270 at the end of it when Deku's like... So it is actually that. It is the first user of One for All at the end of 270 saying he's coming. Because it's the same...
now I'm looking at the beginning of this. You can tell which panels are being said by Deku and which are being said by the first user. Because of the open... Yeah. So what the first user is saying is, stop him. He's coming. Then Deku goes, that's the voice of the first guy, da-da-da. And then he goes on to say, holy shit. Like this particular... these particular two lines really get me. The blowback will soon be here. We don't have long to speak. A transcendent one is coming. Yeah.
So that's something that...
Fuck!
That's something that freaks me out
Not
so
even
much.
Just that. Freed from the shackles of humanity. Like, that's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he's no longer even human.
Fuck,
friggin'
guys.
Shigaraki has transcended being a human to awaken this power.
I've thrown away my humanity! Jojo!
Basically, yeah. Like that's one of the theories I have for why he wakes up and goes, I'm cold. He's not alive anymore. He's literally like a Nomu zombie.
Ooh, okay.
Fuck, that's good. That's really good. Mate, yeah, that's actually very reasonable. Because I was saying that now this process he's undergone is a bit of a Nomufication, right?
Yeah.
And so far, we've only ever seen it performed on dead people. Shirakumo, the first high-end that fought Endeavor, we've only ever seen it performed on dead people. So perhaps a part of this was to just slowly kill and revive Shigaraki enough until his body was tricked into thinking he was dead when he was truly alive.
I mean, it also
that's why
could
he's cold.
just be that he's covered in liquid.
I mean, that's the reasonable answer, but in manga...
It's also
I just want to put it out there that it is a reasonable thing to just be that he is cold because of liquid.
Well, in stories like this, because the problem is for that to be the case, it would have to be because it was a comedic line, right? Yeah. Which it obviously is. It is obviously a line that's meant to be slightly comedic before absolute fucking
chaos
ensues. It's supposed to be a bit comedic.
Also, he literally goes and puts on
he takes
his cape.
He wears Exless's cape.
Exless's cape.
But that also shows a lot of precision in decay now, because if he decayed everything and just didn't decay the cloak, it's pretty precise right there. It's right next to him.
It's true.
Stupid. Where does this happen?
It's
so he doesn't explicitly take the cloak, but at page 16 you see him wearing the cloak, if that's
okay, no, so there it is. Yes. Yeah, so when I first read the chapter, someone was like, yeah, man, he wears the cape, and I'm like, dude, he's wearing a cape. And then I looked through the chapter, I'm like, wow, where the fuck is he wearing the cape? But still, I mean, that's something that I think is really cool, that Shigaraki going forward is probably going to lose that hand motif. Unless he keeps just the one for Nana Shimura, since as far as I'm aware, that's the only one that's still around.
I think it is, yeah.
Unless it was, in the hospital and is now destroyed. But
I think he has it. I think Shigaraki has it.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the doctor has it. I think one of them is currently holding on to it.
But I love characters with capes. Like when when I saw that the original All Might costume had a cape.
Oh yeah, Silver Age All Might.
I was like, ooh. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's some
But,
good
like, a real superheroes, if we're being quote-unquote realistic, would, more often than not gonna be in the skin-tight outfits, right? Because...
The jumpsuits.
Yeah,
and also,
what did... No capes.
No capes.
I saw somebody on the subreddit say if this cape ends up being his, like, downfall during one of the things, he'll, like, tattoo Edna on his ass. Or
You must go over there. You must fight. Win. You know, that's Shigaraki's life is just being Oh.
What?
Shigaraki is syndrome.
No, he's the bad guy from Meet the Robinsons.
Maybe, but seriously, hear me out here. He was a big fan of the main hero, a user of One for All. He was disenfranchised by that user or someone related to the user. Now he hates them. Now he's going on a fucking crusade to let everyone use their powers to fucking undermine that person. It's literally the same plot.
A little bit. I mean, do you think he watched?
Yes. I absolutely believe that.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Horikoshi's going on record saying, like, yeah, man, I love superheroes, especially the Western ones. And you know what I found out the other day? I found out that Hirohiko Araki, the writer... Ooh, excuse me. Hirohiko Araki, the writer of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, one of his favorite movies is Shrek. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know.
I found that out recently. So you know what?
I was not aware of that.
That is so fucking disconnected to JoJo that I wouldn't be surprised that for fucking the guy who writes a manga about superheroes may possibly have enjoyed a movie about superheroes.
I mean, maybe.
Just a thought.
People who don't enjoy The Incredibles, come on. It's a classic.
I don't trust people who don't like The Incredibles.
but
my brothers who were growing up and playing on repeat.
You know?
Real question though. Incredibles 2 when they re-rendered Mrs. Incredible's ass.
Mr. Incredible.
Honestly, I liked the Incredibles 2. I thought it was a decent movie. The animation was pretty damn good.
But anyway, back to the
first thing we're trying to talk about. We're talking about anime, man. I want to talk about Japanese superheroes. Fuck you.
It's animated.
Oh my God.
So Crust gets MVP, but the runner-up for MVP goes to Washer.
Yeah,
because he saves everyone who's in the hospital.
So we also get
get out of beds.
An idea of how their quirk works now.
It's the first time we see. I think it's a him. I think they said it's a him.
Yeah,
but this is the first time we see his. Yeah, it's a washing. Yo, how the fuck do washing machines fuck?
You get a dryer.
I love how something I love about Wash's design is that till now I feel like I've only ever seen him from like the washing machine up.
You never see his legs.
So now knowing, because I always assumed since his arms are literally tubes with hands on the end of it that his legs would be the same, but no, he's also a thick queen. I did not realize that Washa would have a whole ass torso, like fucking. Like legs pelvis down, and thighs and shit underneath.
I mean, Horikoshi is a sucker for legs.
He loves thighs, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that 13 was in this chapter, too.
13?
From the USJ incident.
Oh. Wait, is that on the same page?
It's, no, it's the one where Torino grabs, President Mike and the doctor.
Oh. Huh.
Oh
yeah. You know what? Is this the first time we've seen 13 since?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, outside of like background shit.
I mean, okay, can we name everyone in the next on the next page, like in that whole decay sequence? I don't know if we can.
I could barely see half of it. Like, so who's this pro hero with the really long arms?
I don't know. That's one of the things. Like, I don't know if we can name them because I think they're trying to get 13 out. I don't know who the fat guy is.
I wouldn't be surprised at 13. Like, we don't know how we only know kind of what 13's quirk does. I wouldn't be surprised if she knows how to use it as like a warp device, you know?
Oh, and Rocklock's on Ryukyu. I think that's Rocklock.
I didn't even know he was here. Yeah, that is Rocklock.
I think he's definitely... Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, like, in the first chapter, like, when they were securing the hospital.
Well, the thing is, when they first showed up, like, those panels, we see so many heroes. Many that... Almost entirely heroes that we know and love. Like, one that stands out to me is, like, Ms. Joke. Yeah. She was there.
Yeah, she was.
And we haven't seen her since.
Please tell me Miss Joke is alive. Come on.
If Miss Joke dies, I will riot.
We do not see Miss Joke die. I don't think he would kill her off
die.
At this point. You know who is in that decay scene, Pat?
Who?
Panda Man.
Oh, that's Panda. Oh no, Panda Man's totally dead.
You can see him next to 13.
That's devastating.
Oh, he's totally dead.
Who's the guy at the end on his chest? Who's this?
We do not know. I think over here on the right, we don't know these three.
Yeah, so that was actually a thing. So it was outside of those splash pages when they first arrived. A lot of the characters, like I said, I figure that most of the characters that we would see die would be nameless pro heroes, like Native from fucking
Native.
Yeah, but God, what a great character! A Japanese man appropriating American Indian culture, like that's just a thing to do.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
Also, how does Aizawa's goggles go up?
Sheer force of will and his free hand.
Mental power. He's also technically...
this is interesting. So, can Aizawa use his bandages like Spider-Man?
Who?
I guess so.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, he has to have something to grab onto.
I mean, I think he wrapped it around, like...
We do know Horikoshi does love Spider-Man.
Yeah, apparently, Sero, the character with the tape on his elbows, he's actually in one of like those like side panel things. He's actually said something like, "Yeah, this is one spider-themed hero in America that I really like."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where I get my inspiration from. And I'm like, wow. So he's just gonna straight up talk about that.
Honestly,
they've been talking about
great. I love like cellophane, that whole thing. That's such a cool idea, and I'm glad that it's still like around.
I mean, the real question though is, does he cut off the tape or does he pull it back in?
I'm pretty sure he has, like, you know how at a grocery store?
Yeah.
You get a receipt and the thing cuts it at the end?
Yeah.
I think something like that.
I was just going to make the joke of, if he pulled it back in, that'd be freaking gross.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all the stuff stuck to that.
Just,
oh my gosh.
One of my favorite bits for him, though, is like when they're doing the forest training, and you just see him on a cliff going... with his arms in front of him, just going, "Ah! Just screaming as miles and yards of tape come pouring out of his elbows, and he's just suffering the whole way through.
Yeah, all of them were like all of the ones that had like bodily type quirks were just in pain constantly.
They were just
like when that was literally
but then you smash
bleeding himself dry.
I love that, because then you watch it, Bakugo just literally sitting in a sauna blowing things up because his thing works on sweat. But then you also see
Todoroki.
A smash cut to fucking whatever his name is, Sugar Man and Momo just eating cake.
Sato and
yeah. As Momo is just creating like Matryoshka dolls out of her back, like just fucking. I can't keep eating.
Those lipids, man. Gotta eat those lipids.
Oh my gosh.
Lipids, dude. Lipids. We gotta get this lipids.
It's been a while since I took biology, alright?
No, it's not. Oh, Mr. Garofalo.
Okay, so
let's get back to the chapter.
A lot of people make it out, but a lot of people don't.
A lot of characters we know make it out.
I think.
But also,
I've heard a lot of people ask, how are the heroes going to recover from this? Not only physically, but I also kind of believe that now. But like, not only physically, but like, how are they going to gain the public's trust again?
Well, I mean, they were able to do it after. Granted, fucking
they caught him.
All Might won.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think the heroes are going to win this one.
I mean, they only leveled a city block, not an entire fucking borough.
Yeah.
God, you can tell we're from New York if we're using the fucking word borough.
Yeah. Another thing. Freaking Midoriya using 45%.
Yeah.
Has he been able to do that before?
No. This is the highest percent
we've seen him use. He's got 20.
I think the highest
25?
we ever saw him was 25, and then he said he could do it a bit at 30 when he was doing Black Whip. I think that's what it was.
Well, he has used 100% before.
Yeah, but
when he had
continuous use without any harmful side effects. This is the highest we've seen him use.
Yes.
Also,
I was just going to talk about when he was with
St. Louis Smash Air Force, dude.
Yeah.
Sick. So he's using his I love the fact that he's still using the Iron Souls. That's really cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Also, all of the quirks that the Doctor had are now gone.
Yeah, all those extra quirks are now a part of the decay, which then begs the question, because if Shigaraki has All for One now, which has been confirmed, then we would have to assume that it works like it did for All for One, right? Where you'd have to touch the guy. Perhaps, because of his decay ability, he may just have to decay a person with it. Which, therefore, if we're following this line of logic here, destroying vials full of duplicated quirks could theoretically have just given him, a metric fuck ton of quirks.
That also means he now has Exilus and
any other hero that
just died.
Any other hero that just died in the chapter. He may have just received their quirk if that's how this wants to go.
Also, every single Nomu he just killed.
That's right.
Which had multiple.
They had 5 each, if not more.
Yeah.
All powerful.
So if that's the way Horikoshi goes with the way Decay All for One goes, we may be in for a world of overpowered villains starting in chapter 273.
He went plus ultra.
Yeah. My God.
Honestly, though,
I agree with Endeavor now. I don't much care for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way Horikoshi's going to go with it, because I feel like that would just be, this guy's unbeatable when you look at it like that. If you can just, not even touch anything's already for decay, and then get quirks by using decay.
That's the thing, though. I think having him be like that and then having Deku figure out how to do it would be a much cooler story than,
But
I'm already looking at
don't
Float.
See a way that it could be figured out, that Deku could figure out how to beat someone who just gets all of these insane quirks that the Doctor's been storing up.
Maybe.
Because
that may be so.
Even with
that may
Float,
be too much.
Float can just counter decay, but then there's probably a bunch of projectile quirks. Even just looking at the Nomu that were decayed, the one with the weird warping Kamui technique, basically just Obito and Kakashi,
Right. Well, we may be seeing, Float being combined with Air Force. So he will be able to maneuver basically like he's Superman or Iron Man or something. He will effectively just be able to fly.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last time. But again, from that, what's good dodging if you can't hit him?
Yeah. I don't know, because, so far as we're aware, the quirk only works through his hands. So, I wouldn't be surprised if as a cosmic irony, the way you defeat Shigaraki is by cutting off his hands in the same way Shigaraki did to Overhaul.
It's true. Can I talk about... I'm gonna bring up something else. Because you're talking about how that would be so overpowered. But one of the things that the Doctor says... He says, quote for quote, but now we witness a miracle or something even greater, plus ultra, Shigaraki has awakened. Does that mean... I feel like that's... Because, why would the Doctor be rejoicing if,
Because a moment ago we thought he was dead.
Well, yeah, but even, why would... It's just Shigaraki powered up a little bit.
Oh, no. This is not a little bit.
Well, yeah, he takes out 5 miles of place.
That's quite a fucking jump from only being able to destroy an apple in his hands,
you have to realize, he has worked for One for All.
All for One.
All for One, sorry. All for One for so long. One for All was
All for One.
He literally took down the greatest hero ever known All for One or All Might.
Come on,
God, this is getting fucking confusing.
All Might. He took down All Might. He worked for basically probably the most powerful quirk user we have seen. Wow. Why would he be rejoicing over yes, this is a lot of damage. I'm not going to deny that. But the Doctor is seeing a lot of shit.
Well, let's look at it this way.
This is the culmination.
All for One, yeah, this is the culmination of it. Plus, All for One, the person, had no intentions of bringing about a new world order. He wanted to have fun for himself, and he wanted just to spite All Might as much as he could. This was just his world, and you were living in it. He was just having a good time, He didn't really give a damn. He was just having a good time, going fuck you, All Might. I have more quirks now, and I'm going to kick the shit out of you in this town square. I don't care if I lose. Beat me twice, actually.
That's true.
Shigaraki, on the other hand, was his fucking master plan. Because he sees the biggest fuck you to All Might to be a new world order where he's not even involved.
That's true.
One that he just,
sits in prison.
Yeah, or it's not even sits in prison. I think he's going to die before it fully comes to fruition. I think it's just going to be All for One just going, all right, make it happen, Shigaraki. Shigaraki does it, and he goes, yeah, fuck you, All Might, and then he dies. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. The New World Order is something that Shigaraki wants, and All for One wants it for him. All for One does not care.
That's fair.
This New World Order...
That Shigaraki is going to be the one that kills both All Might and All for One.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that.
I don't know. I feel like he's definitely going to kill All for One, or All for One's going to die on his own or something. But All Might, I'm not so sure about because I feel like something.
I feel like All Might needs to die though.
No, absolutely. Duh.
I don't think All Might's going to get a happy ending. Obviously, he's going to die, but I don't think it's going to be a happy death. Obviously, it's going to be sad. But,
yeah.
In the manner of which that it's going to be very brutal story-wise. More than just,
yes,
the main, protagonist's idol died. There's probably going to be more than that, I feel.
Yeah, and you know what? You're probably right, seeing as how, the grandson of your master killing you is probably the most poetically bad. It's probably the worst way you could die as a character, Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're probably right now that I think about that. Jesus, Shigaraki. Shigaraki has awakened. All that you heroes have built, he will undo upon waking.
Kind of true. He's going to destroy Hero Society. I don't think that's a question anymore.
Victory is ours.
I don't think that's a question anymore.
No, and I'm telling you, let's use this opportunity because we basically looked through the entire chapter, almost page by page at this point. Let's look to the future.
Theories.
Now, I think the Doctor's right. I think victory is theirs.
Oh, for sure.
I agree with you. I agree that the Hero Society is definitely going to take a huge blow, if not an almost complete destruction. I do not think that it'll be completely destroyed, because I don't think he's going to try and make it a... He's already writing a Vigilantes,
He's not writing it.
He's already writing Vigilantes. I don't think he would try and write...
I'm pretty
the
sure...
same... Not exactly the same story.
Right.
No, someone else writes Vigilantes. Oh, Vigilantes takes place
in the universe
earlier than this.
Well, but still, that kind of story is already a thing. I don't think he's going to go into a
Villain Reign of Terror.
I don't feel like he's going to go into a heroes have to hide.
I'm gonna point out that Vigilantes isn't really a traditional these are guys that hide and specifically do these good deeds. It's not really in that traditional sense. There's one character that's Batman, and then the other characters are just...
wait, have you read Vigilantes?
I like doing things to help people, but I'm not a hero.
Okay.
No, let's not talk about Vigilantes unless you've read it.
Yeah, but it's not in the traditional sense.
Right.
I just don't feel like... he would write a society where heroes need to hide. Especially...
Well, no, so there's the thing. So specifically, Vigilantes...
I'm not even talking about Vigilantes anymore. I'm just talking...
Right, no, but I'm talking, That's the thing. So everyone needs to have a quirk registered with the government. And if you have... As long as your quirk is registered, everything's okay, but you're not allowed to use it unless you have a hero license.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they won't stop you if you have something as mundane as, like, Inko Midoriya, who can draw small objects to her with her hands. You know, if it's something as mundane as that, no one's going to stop you. But it's like, if you can breathe fire and are just chilling, like, don't do that. It's actually quite repressive, and that's the kind of thing that the Liberation Front is fighting against. They want free use of people's quirks. You know, that's where the vigilantes come from. The vigilantes are people who are not heroes who use their quirks for good anyway.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't feel like he would write something. I don't know. Because I don't feel like he would be able to develop certain characters as well.
Well, you'd be surprised. So, I mean, not to discount what you're saying, but let's just put this back on track for a moment. Let's use this opportunity to do theorizing for the future.
Yes.
So, last thing we see, the doctor says, victory is ours. Deku uses 45%, and holy shit, everything's going bad. When Deku's bubble of screaming, everyone run, is bigger than Bakugo's.
That's true.
That's ridiculous. Because Bakugo is the loudest boy in the fucking war universe.
That's true.
Well, percentage of panel-wise... it doesn't even work. But, like... I was going to say
Still
percentage
bigger.
of panel
Still
buffing a bit more.
50% of that panel is being taken up by Deku's yelling.
You can see all of Bakugo's face.
Yeah, but Deku doesn't have a chin.
He has no chin,
So,
therefore he should grow a beard.
Okay, but can we discuss what do we think Shigaraki is going to go for next?
So, that's the thing. I still believe, as far as theorizing for the future goes, that at the very least, the next few chapters are going to be a bit difficult to pinpoint. Because if I were writing this, I would say next chapter would either be Gigantomachia attacking, finishing up at the mansion, or coming over to the hospital for whatever reason. I don't see why anyone would come to the hospital at this point, seeing as how I think this is just Shigaraki's now, since, you know, he's decimated everything.
I agree with that.
But I think the next chapter will be Gigantomachia at the mansion. Because we've been seeing... This was the first chapter in a while that was exclusively one front.
Yeah. I also kind of agree with you now because you say it's the one front, but to be fair, we've been focusing, like last chapter, it's kind of focusing on the mansion.
Yeah.
This chapter is really focusing on the hospital.
Yeah.
So I think next chapter they're going to be going back to the mansion.
Yeah, that makes 5 sense.
Honestly, I completely agree. I think we're going to go straight to Gigantomachia, just turning the tides at the mansion. Because what we just saw here is the villains start winning at the hospital, so I just expect to see the villains start winning at the mansion now, more so than just blowing up an ice wall. So I think we're going to go straight to the mansion, get a chapter of Gigantomachia, wrecking house, like Redestro getting new legs, actually pulling off Ragnarok. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of deaths at the mansion as much as we saw at the hospital. Like, obviously not to the scale of the hospital, but I do think we're going to see some deaths. Better not be Fat Gum. Thanks for listening, everybody. So we'll be back next week when the next chapter comes out. And as always, Plus Ultra. Except, Shigaraki's Plus Ultra now.